Howdy folks, today I want to try and revive an old series that I let lapse a bit. It's time for Let Me Fix That For You. Okay, if you haven't seen any of the old videos in this series, and who could blame you, let me just recap the concept for you. Basically, I'm going to be making a drink sent in by a viewer, something that they've come up with that they need a little help on. Maybe it's not working as well as they'd hoped, and I will see if I can improve it. Now, if you're trying to come up with drinks at your house, it can be difficult to get sort of honest feedback from a like-minded person, and I want to do that for you. I put up a community post on YouTube, and I got a response from Al S. He wants me to make the Goombay Smash. Now this is a little bit of a departure from the normal format because this isn't his original drink, but rather it's a sort of semi-famous tropical drink from the Bahamas with a secret recipe. Now it was invented by someone down there by the name of Miss Emily, and her daughter still makes the drink. I'll link to a video where she talks about it down below if you're curious about the Goombay Smash. Now apparently there's theories going around the internet about what goes into it, but I'm not gonna try and recreate it exactly. I'm gonna try and take the spirit and make something that I would make at my house. Because, you know, context is pretty important. If you're down on the beach in the Bahamas and somebody serves you a rum, pineapple, coconut, orange juice drink, you might be pretty excited. You're on vacation, it's hot, you're on the beach, it's the perfect thing. But here in my house, it's a little bit rainy. You know, we're going for a different sort of vibe. All I'm saying is, I'm not trying to say that Goombay Smash is bad. I'm just trying to say we're gonna make a slightly different version. Okay, so here is the recipe that Al S sent in to me. It's an ounce of coconut rum, half an ounce of white rum, half an ounce of dark rum, and a half an ounce of apricot brandy. To that, you'll add 2 ounces of pineapple, an ounce of orange, and a 1/4 ounce of lime. Now, a couple things about this. One, I have sort of an probably unfair disdain for coconut rum like Malibu. I think it's kind of gross. Putting aside the fact that it's not actually rum, it's a liqueur. It's at, I think Malibu's at 21%. I'm gonna be using this Clement Mahina Coco. It's another coconut liqueur, but made by Clement in Martinique. I think it's probably a slightly higher quality product, but it still mostly tastes like sort of artificial coconut, sort of like sunscreen. Now number 2, the Goombay Smash from down the Bahamas. This seems to be sort of proudly bottom shelf, sort of a lowbrow thing. They insist you use Dole pineapple and orange juice from a bottle and some bottom shelf rums that they won't specify. They're not saying what they're using. But we're gonna try and class it up a little bit. For one thing, I've already done a video testing canned pineapple versus fresh, and I found the fresh to be 100 times better. So I'm gonna use fresh pineapple right off the bat, and also fresh orange juice because I have an orange and I can just juice it. Okay, so I made one of these yesterday. Here's what I made yesterday. I did an ounce of Real McCoy. I did an ounce of Worthy Park 109. One, because I wanted to up the proof of this a little bit, and it only called for dark rum, and that's like the darkest rum I have. A blackstrap rum might actually be pretty good in this as well. I did a half ounce of my coconut, a half ounce of apricot, and then 2 ounces of pineapple and an ounce of orange. Now that tasted kind of flat to me. I don't think there was enough rum in it, and orange juice is too sweet, in my opinion. The whole thing was a little bit sweet, and I got a lot of orange juice towards the end. Now, to improve on yesterday's version, I'm definitely gonna up the rum content. I'm gonna put in half an ounce of Dr. Bird, a very funky rum from Jamaica. You could use Smith & Cross or something else, anything super funky, just to give this drink a little bit more punch. I'll stick with the Real McCoy and the Worthy Park 109. I think those were pretty good. I'm gonna up the apricot as well to 3/4. The apricot liqueur that I'm using is actually very tart, and I wanted some more of that to counteract all the sweetness from the pineapple and the orange juice. So you could tart this up a little bit with some lime juice, or even putting citric acid in the orange juice to sort of acidulate the orange juice. That might be an avenue you could explore. I'll stick with half an ounce of coconut. It's pretty powerful, but I think the point of this drink is to be coconut and pineapple flavored. We'll stick with 2 ounces of our fresh pineapple juice. We'll go with half an ounce of orange instead of a full ounce. Let's shake this up and see how we did. Yeah. this garnish looks spectacular. All right, let's give it a sip. Still coconutty, but the orange is much less, which is nice. It's still sweet enough. I think the pineapple juice just is sweet enough. I don't get a ton of the tartness from the apricot, but you do get a nice bit of funk. It can actually be a little more. I could stand to turn up the Dr. Bird a little bit if I wanted to. Let's have another sip. You can't just have one sip. Yeah, this is way more complex than what I had yesterday. It could even be more complex though. Like we could put some bitters in this. We could put like a bar spoon of Fernet or something bitter just to sort of spice it up a little bit, or some other Amaro, maybe Angostura Amaro or something like that, Campari even, or even some chartreuse could go in there. Pineapple and chartreuse are amazing. That might even give this another extra zing. But I think this rum level is better. The coconut, after the first sip, you get a lot of coconut, but for some reason, the second sip, it's not there as much. Anyway, I think this is a much more complex, more interesting drink. This isn't exactly my lane. This isn't my style that I make all the time, but I think this is a delicious tropical drink. Not bad at all. So I think we've improved things. Now I want to keep this series going because I know there's some of you out there working on drinks and you need a second opinion. So put your comments down below with your recipes, or you could send them to me on Instagram. Tell me also what issues you might be having with them, and I'll see what I can do. Now, I'm aiming to do this every other month or so, so it might take a minute before I get to your recipe, but send them along anyway. I'll get to them eventually. And special ingredients are fine, and if I can make it or buy it or substitute for it, then that's totally fine, I'll do it. If I can't do any of those things, I may not be able to make your drink. So just keep that in mind. So this service and this whole channel I'm doing for free because I want to. I make a little bit of money from ads, but not very much. Now I'm gonna keep doing it in any event, but if you want to support the channel, there is a little down below right here, there's a little heart with a $sign in it. That's called a super thanks. You could send me some money if you felt like it. Totally not required at all, but you know, maybe you want to help support the channel. Okay, thanks to Al S for sending this in. I really appreciate everybody's participation. Comment below with your recipes, what you're working on, and the problems you're having. I will see you next time with a new video.